Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jamiea, aka Mia's podcast, a place where we learn, grow, and heal together. In our last episode, we learned about how to live a godly life. Today, we are learning about acknowledging that we need healing. There are many illnesses we face in life, some beyond our control. When sickness strikes, we often turn to doctors, caregivers, medications, and other worldly solutions for healing. But in times of need, we should remember that the ultimate source of healing is God. He is the one true healer who has the power to restore us completely. Have you always been the one others turn to for help? Have you taken on the role of caring for everyone, trying to make a difference? What happens when you're the one who needs healing, support, or care? Who do you turn to? Have you reached out to those you have helped? Or do you keep your struggles hidden, pretending everything is okay? It's time to admit when we are hurt, sick, or in need, and call out to God for the healing and support that we deserve. Remember, it's okay to be vulnerable. You don't have to carry everything on your own. Let go of the need to be superhuman and trust in God's power to heal and restore you. Let's go over the different types of sickness. Physical sickness refers to illness that affect the body, such as flu, high blood pressure, or other conditions that may require medical treatment. Emotional sickness happens when intense or prolonged emotions like trauma, stress, or grief disrupt daily life and well-being. Mental sickness involves disorders that affect a person's thinking, behavior, and ability to cope with life challenges. Spiritual sickness occurs when there's a disconnection from one's sense of purpose, inner peace, or relationship with God. This can manifest as feeling lost, hopeless, or unfulfilled. Social sickness is when there's a breakdown in healthy relationships or difficulty functioning within social environments, affecting one's ability to connect with others. Environmental sickness is caused by exposure to harmful or unhealthy physical environments. Financial sickness arises from constant stress and anxiety related to money and financial struggles. Occupational sickness involves health problems caused or worsened by work-related conditions or stress. Moral or ethical sickness is when someone feels conflicted or guilty over their actions or moral choices, leading to inner turmoil. Each of us have faced at least one of these sicknesses. People get sick sometimes on a regular basis, whether it's every year or every few months. It's important to reflect on what might be causing us to feel unwell. Are you working too much? Is your job making you sick? Do you live in a toxic home environment, and are the people around you making you emotionally or mentally sick? Are you trying to support everyone financially, and is it causing you financial stress? Are you physically hurt, maybe from carrying too much? It's time to assess what's impacting your health and well-being. There are times when we face sickness for months or even years, or when we receive unexpected news like a cancer diagnosis or another serious illness. Hearing that we are sick and that our chances of recovery are low can be incredibly discouraging and may even lead to feelings of depression. We often go to great lengths to find healing by spending large amounts of money on medication, consulting with doctors who charge too much, or turning to services that promise to help us recover but underdeliver. And it ends up worsening our situation. We end up losing money and feeling no real progress has ever been done. Being sick or injured, especially when surgery or major treatment is required, can be terrifying. There's the fear of the unknown, the hopes that things will improve only to find out that the condition has worsened. In those moments, you truly realize how vulnerable you are, and it's in that space of weakness where you learn that Once you release control and surrender to God's will, you see that He is the only one who can truly heal you. Trusting in God's power and having faith in His timing is the key to finding peace and healing, knowing that His plan for you is always greater than anything we can imagine. I would like to share my testimony. I have been a caregiver since the year of 2020, and it's been a job I truly loved. There's something so fulfilling about bringing joy and comfort to the elderly, whether it was uplifting their spirits, making them laugh, taking them out for breakfast or lunch, or attending to their needs while they are sick. I found purpose in every moment, gardening with them, feeding them, helping them regain a sense of joy. It was more than just a job to me. It was a calling. Every client I worked with, I treated them like family, and I did my best to help them find peace and happiness, and in return, I felt blessed to be a part of their lives. But despite my passion for caregiving, I ended up injuring myself at work. I have always been the strong one in my family, the one who keeps everything to herself. I rarely admit when I'm struggling, and I usually keep up the appearance that everything is okay. I have carried that mindset for years, ever since I was a kid. I'm the youngest of 5, and my mother was a single mother. She had a lot on her plate, and I didn't want to add to it, so I learned to be independent. I kept my struggles to myself, never turning to my mom for help, because I knew that she was already focused on my siblings. I would find other ways to make ends meet. By babysitting. I used to steal when I was younger. God forgive me. I did anything to avoid asking for help. After my mom passed away, I felt an overwhelming sense of responsibility for my siblings and their children. She taught me to always help family, and I carried that lesson with me. Whenever they needed money, support, or help, I was there. But when I needed help, I didn't know who to turn to. My options felt so limited. And in that moment, I realized the only one I could truly rely on was God. God saved me from addiction, toxic relationships, homelessness, and all the struggles I faced. He gave me the love and strength that I needed to keep going. But now, with my recent hip injury, I have found myself in a position I have never been in before. Just 2 days ago, my leg gave out on me, and I fell to the ground. Oh my goodness. So I cried. I didn't cry just because of the physical pain, but because I had to face the reality that I couldn't do everything on my own. I couldn't work. I couldn't take care of myself. I had to admit that I needed help, that I was vulnerable. I was vulnerable and in need of healing. For someone like me who has always been on the go, who has always taken care of everything and everyone, admitting that I need help is hard. It's humbling, but also a reminder that even the strongest ones can't do it by themselves. This injury has been a wake-up call. It's okay to need help. It's okay to lean on others. And most importantly, it's okay to trust God, to trust His timing, and trust that He will heal you. We don't have to carry the weight of the world by ourselves. Healing comes when we let go and allow God to do what only He can do. I truly believe, and there's undeniable evidence, that the ultimate healer, the one who can heal in ways no one else can, is God. When all else fails, when medicine doesn't work, and nothing seems to improve, God is the one who can bring true healing. The key is faith, trusting that God will heal you no matter the circumstance, and knowing that His timing and His will is perfect. A powerful example of this truth can be found in Mark 5:25, chapter 5, verse 25 through 43. This story shows us that faith in God is the key to healing, no matter how impossible or hopeless things may seem. With God, there is always a way. He is the true healer, the one who can restore and make you whole again. It is through our faith and trust in Him that we can experience His powerful healing. Please listen as I read Mark chapter 5, verse 25 through 43. Jesus raises a dead girl and heals a sick woman. When Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue's leaders, named Jairus, came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hand on her so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him, and a woman was there who had been subjected to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, "If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed." Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher any more?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." He did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha koum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. At this, they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this and told them to give her something to eat. Wow, that's crazy, huh? It's real. God is real. Amen. Never forget that God is the true healer, the one who you can always trust. He is always near, ready to listen and answer whenever you call on him. Trust in his power to heal you. Thank you for joining me on Jamiea, aka Mia's podcast, a place where we learn, grow, and heal. Remember, God's love is with you, and healing is coming your way. Trust that God will heal you, okay? Talk to you next time.